again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do eat no money, what people at you eat no at you. Covid money missing we eat the your little rat you. Use the youth the money waste and must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you but bigger than a figure you. Take the spit of money gal and say that is not you. One day the man above end up in my gut up. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me
300% raise.
It burn me
garbage pile of the day.
It burn me
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me
I see corruption face.
It burn me
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our fever. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me
Or them treat the peanut man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the sun man.
It burn me
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me
How them a treat soldier man.
It burn me
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me.
Boom! I mean, I say a couple to the flex they represent for Wayne Global TV. So I say, you know the code in the Wayne Global TV is what fully blessed on the 90 days. So I say, yeah man, to the fullest. Yeah man, make sure them log in to Wayne Global TV. So I say, check it out. So I say, one cup of flex. So I say, Wayne Global. When you watch you know, see them a plan up and a try to put them money pan we head. But man a live too long, them want Wayne Global fitted. To him juggle so smooth that them want him life for dread. I through the bank I like the break, but we ain't all about the bread. We open up in the ears and no listen when we said, cause we lyrics them so smooth like the linen pan the bed. Them one with a fall, travel living pan the edge, I must say true, we make this them. We ain't Global TV, we are 90, hey. And 90, who Jaja bless, say no man can curse. Give it the Range Rover, who no drive yours. Boom! We in Global TV to the fullest one cup of excellence, see me?
After 7 years of waiting, the Prime Minister still had to be pushed into a corner to call the general election. But the Prime Minister at all doesn't look or sound enthusiastic about calling the election. But tonight, finally, we have a date. February 26th will be the day when Jamaica will decide at the local government level. But tonight, on Global TV, again, we will journey to East Portland, where we will be speaking to Colin, the council candidate for the Fellowship Division. And 2025, the candidate 2025 for the Eastern Portland constituency. Good evening and welcome to Global TV. This is Jamaica Decide. Finally, he has been backed into a corner. He doesn't at all look enthusiastic. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Global TV. Thank you all for joining us this evening and our program. It is ever so lovely to have you here. Give me a chance. I need to do a little bit of modification. It's ever so lovely to have you all here. Thank you all for joining us. Good evening to those on the Twitch, to those on X, to those on Facebook, on YouTube. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us. This evening, we hope to have an exciting evening for you with our start, as we did from last night, on the election campaign. We are on our Jamaica Decide journey. Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Before I get into anything, I need to do a few big ups. But remember, I told you all this morning, it is the birthday of Debbie Jervis. Debbie Jervis is one of our moderators, as well as our North American correspondent. Good evening, everyone. Wish Debbie Jervis a happy birthday. Tonight, we will give her her proper birthday celebration. So please all do show your support to our North American correspondent in the chat. I am terribly sorry. I am terribly sorry. Wrong queuing. Terribly sorry. I had my face down doing something else. Terribly sorry. Thank you very much for all your support, Debbie, across all my social media page. We appreciate you. You gave us some insightful reporting from the protests at in Florida at the Jamaican consulate the other day, when the diaspora intervention team task force was having their demonstration. So thank you very much for your continuous support on social media. We really appreciate you. Have a great day, and we wish you many more happy birthdays. I want to big up a few communities from the Augustown community. The community of Moscow, Cuba, Gandhi, Revel, Breadback, Big Link Crew. Your big up is coming from top boss, you know who. So big up to all those communities of Augustown, as well as bigging up man like Revel and Breadback. As well as we're sending out big up to Big Yard as well. So Big Yard, the whole of Augustown, you know where your big up is coming up from. Coming from Top Boss is sending big up to the Augustown communities. How are you all, my globalists? Good evening, all, and welcome. Let me go back to my chat. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Beat and Teach, good evening and welcome. Veteran, good evening and welcome. Sunshine, all in Foster, good evening and welcome. Patricia Matthews, good evening and welcome. Good evening, Natalia Freeman, good evening and welcome. Professor Gorgeous Lady, good evening and welcome. Amazing Grace, Sonia Wint, good evening and welcome. David Jervis, good evening and welcome. Big up, happy birthday. Good evening and welcome. Who else is here? In a circle, good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome. VM, good evening and welcome. Joni and Jim Hamilton Wilson, good evening and welcome. Raymond, good evening and welcome. Jamaican Foodie, good evening and welcome. Angela 48349, good evening and welcome. The VM, good evening and welcome. Who else is here? Oh, why is my mouse doing this? Good evening and welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Ton of flavor, good evening and welcome. In a circle, good evening and welcome. Head Teacher K, good evening and welcome. How are you? Long time no see. Good evening and welcome. Always observing, good evening and welcome. Joan Sinclair, good evening and welcome. Amazing Grace, good evening and welcome. Rodney Reed, good evening and welcome. Overcomer, you're always on Facebook. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, Cousin Jamie Too Cool. Good evening and welcome. Who else is here? Good evening to everyone who is on the chat and in the live. Sharon Powell, good evening and welcome. Carla Hayes, good evening and welcome. Stacy, good evening and welcome. Jamaican Carlos, good evening and welcome. Good evening all. Good evening. Good evening, Alicia. Good evening and welcome. Marvin Lloyd, good evening and welcome to Global Television. Good evening, Monica Willis. Good evening. Good evening, Colin Humphreys. Good evening and welcome. Fabian Anderson, JP. Good evening and welcome. Good evening. Good evening to everyone. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We will just continue to chit-chat while our guest has arrived. But finally, a date for the local government election. Who will the nation vote for? Will the nation vote party line, JLP, PNP, or will Jamaica for the first time? Will Jamaica for the first time vote Jamaica? Will Jamaica for the first time vote for the future of our younger generation and not the continuous voting along party line and voting along hereditary, voting for hereditary politics? Is Jamaica ready to make that local government decision to say, we are ready, not for promises, but for ideas, implementation of the ideas to make sure we have a thriving economy and a more prosperous society. So this evening we're going to speak to Mr. Colin Bell from Portland. You all, if you're not all aware of who Mr. Bell is, Mr. Bell was the gentleman that Everard Warmington referred to as dog, chink, fly, and flee. This evening we are going to have that conversation with Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell will be going as a candidate in this local election for the fellowship division in one of the East Portland constituency. when it comes to the general election, Mr. Bell will also contest in Eastern Galilee. And we all know Eastern Galilee is the seat of Anvars. Good evening, Mr. Bell, and welcome to Global Television. Thank you for joining us.
Blessings, my brother. Good evening. Thanks for having me on.
Who is Mr. Bell? Explain to Jamaica who Colin Bell is.
Colin Bell is a born Portland. I was born in the operating theatre of the Port Antonio Hospital. Was educated here in Portland. I was, well, they say once you're a soldier, you're always a soldier. I was a member of the Jamaica Defense Force back in my early days. I am a broadcaster. Been in the broadcasting business since 1995. I am a farmer. I am a entrepreneur. And now I am dabbling into politics.
Quite a rounded experience, would you say?
Definitely. I do have some experience. I operate my own business and been doing that for more than a decade now.
So you would say you have quite a lot of experience to bring to your political life, because you have done quite many different things out there which would bring a lot of experience into where you're going now.
I would say a lot of experience and vision, because vision is more important. As the Bible tells you that where there is no vision, the people perish.
On your pamphlet, your mantra is man of vision. Explain your man of vision and the visions you have going forward.
Well, as I said, the Bible tells you that where there is no vision, the people perish. And if you're going into politics and you don't have no plan, I think it's a total waste of time. So my intention is to use politics to move our people from street side greetings to business meetings, meaning that we are going to be creating wealth in Portland, and we're going to do that on a couple of pillars. One of them is the creative industry, the culture and the creative industry. We're also talking about organized farming. We're talking about tourism. We're talking about education and, of course, health, which you can't leave out that one because we have some serious issues in Portland as it relates to the health of our people and how we take care of our people. Our hospital is a type C facility. A type C facility in Jamaica is one where they stabilize the patient and then they send them off.
Let us break this chat into two different areas. We're going to first talk about Colin Bell, the council candidate for the fellowship division. What is Colin Bell's vision for the fellowship division if Colin Bell is elected on the 26th of February?
Well, I tell you something, you know, the vision for the fellowship division also ties in with the entire vision for the constituency, because you see, some people limit parish council and councillors to just cleaning, drain and bushing roads. Your councillor is much more than that.
Let me ask you this then. What's the water infrastructure or the water distribution like for just the fellowship division at the moment you're going up for?
You have to understand, the fellowship division, in fact, I would tell you that we have the most water on the island in the fellowship division. There's some problem with distribution, but not a lot as in other division. So therefore, water is not one of the burning issue in the fellowship division. There are few people who needs better water supply, but roads, jobs, opportunities are more burning issues in the fellowship division, and we are going to fix those. And I told you about organized farming where
let's deal with the roads. If you become elected, given that the Prime Minister has said he's allocating 40 billion to fix our roads over a 2-budget period, how will you spend your share of the budget on those roads? Have you,
my brother, councillors,
have you yet diagnosed the roads of fellowship division measurement wise that you would want to compare to the budget you'll be getting?
Councillors will not be getting any of that money. The Prime Minister will be using that money to try and win the general election. So don't be Samfire and don't be con. If you realize that money is going to members of parliament, and in East Portland,
member of parliament not under duty to spread that to the parochial
the member of parliament for East Portland don't even talk to the PNP council. They don't even talk to the PNP councillors, my brother. So the member of parliament for East Portland don't even speak to the PNP councillors. So let's not waste time and go down that road. Huh?
And that is Anne-Marie Vaz.
Yeah, man, that's a level of victimization that you would have never seen anywhere in Jamaica. That takes place in Eastern Portland. So let's not go down that road and think that we are going to get any of that money to spend.
How does then, if Colin Bell is elected, the monthly or 2-monthly distribution of funds to local government for the upkeep of communities, how does Colin Bell restore or upgrade the road system, the road system in Fellowship Division from that fund?
All right, so the council have that kind of fund that they do a round robin with every month, and you would have heard an interview with the mayor of Port Antonio telling the world that when they get money to spend in the Portland Parish Council. I didn't hear that.
Let me bring that interview back for you.
Yeah, man.
Could you repeat what you were saying?
Mr. McKenzie is suggesting that there's a certain level of partisanry on the part of how you allocate certain benefits at the municipal level.
Mr. McKenzie cannot come to this on this platform and say anything like that. What I have done is what he was practicing when he was the mayor. When he was the mayor and he gets the funding from the ministry, he shares it in a 50, 100% basis. He gives the JLP 50% and they take 100%. And it is evident right now that is exactly what I'm doing.
Hold on. That maths doesn't sound right. If you get $100 million, you take 100% and get the PNP 50?
Get half of it.
No, that's not no. Something
that's what he was doing.
No, but you can't have 150% or something, sir. How much would you take and how much would you give the PNP?
If he gets $10 to share for the council,
yes.
If the PMP would get 100 or $50 out of the $10, and his JLP will get $25.
But hold on, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Arithmetic not right. You get $10. You get
all right. Let me break it.
Yes, so you get $10 for spend, right? Total.
And the JLP get $5.
50%, yes?
Yes. Yes.
And the PNP and the JLP and the PNP would get how much?
The PNP gets, whenever time the PNP gets any money, whether $20 or $10, if they get $20, the JLP get $10.
Oh, so
if they get $10, the JLP get $5.
So it's 50-50 share it?
Right.
Oh.
Now, Colin Bell, break down that round robin for a 4-year-old.
So you realize the mayor was unable to explain 2-to-1. That's what he wanted to explain. So what they are doing now in the Portland Municipal Corporation, they take twice the amount of money that they give to the PNP councillor. Now, if me and the council turn over every table in that will not happen. And if the PNP used to do it, it's wrong.
Colin Bell would cause a revolution in the municipality.
Yeah, man, then hold on. Every month, they are going to take $3 million and only give me $1 million. The time I come with me, I get $3 million to it. Cannot happen.
How that $3 million per month should be dispersed across the division?
Every councillor should get an equal share of the money. And then you spend it properly. You see, I have a vision that some of the roads that we have that have not been touched, or some of them has never been touched. I believe that we need to start putting concrete on some of these roads. The concrete is longer lasting and will give you a cheaper fix. Yeah, because some of these roads are properly stoned. And if you get the premix truck and you pour the concrete, back it up, if a pothole come in it, any citizen can use a bag of cement and patch it out. So you will have longer lasting roads. So we're looking at that. But also, it is our intention to seek grant funding for a lot of these roads. Because in my division, what we have is World Heritage Site. The Blue and Drunkro Mountain is World Heritage Site. And for somewhere to name World Heritage Site, it means it has value for now and value for the future.
Explain the grant funding further.
Grant funding is when you come up with a project, you have your non-for-profit group in your community, you set up your project, you apply for the funding, and this is money that you're not going to pay back because you have to be relevant and show that you can spend this money and that you have the proper structures in place to get these kind of grant funding to assist with some of the roads. In the Blue and Drunkro Mountain, we have flora and fauna that is nowhere else in the world. We have herbs that is nowhere else in the world. We have birds and butterflies that you can't see anywhere else. So ecotourism is one of the big things right now.
Let me get this question in, Colin Bell. Will you be looking for grant funding from an international level or just from a national level?
International and national.
In looking into that funding, and you can guarantee the people of Portland that a Colin Bell, councillor or MP, will not give away their land in pursuit of funding.
No, man, we will give away the land to the people of Portland. The people of Jamaica must get a piece of this rock. And we will ensure that people in the fellowship division have access to farmlands. We will not give away the Blue Lagoon. We will defend the Blue Lagoon.
Let's get back to roads, Colin Bell. That round robin you explained, how much of that each councillor for a division get? If you're not politically corrupt, how much of that could have been spent on our roads or on the road in a particular division to upgrade our roads?
You see, there are other things away from roads that you have to deal with, because I'm a strong believer in education. But if we stop giving away the money to individuals, we can do a lot more. If we stop ciphering off some of the money, we can do a lot more. And we can see our communities grow. You see, in Jamaica, they talk about scarce benefits and spoils in politics. And I like to tell my people that there's a lot more in politics than scarce benefit. But because our leaders lack the vision and don't know how to unearth the talent that we have, then we have problems like these. Bob Marley tells you that in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty.
Let's move into agriculture. You talk about agriculture. Tell Portland and Jamaica your vision for agriculture in East Portland and Portland by extension.
All right, up until December 2022, I was the largest farmer of broiler chickens in Portland. I came out of it because I was farming in a community that there was no potable water. So I had to pack up and leave the chicken business. But I know farming, I understand how it works. And that's why we come up with an idea of organized farming. Because one of the problems that our farmers face is that they are unable to sustain a market. So where this idea came from, I have a friend in Port Antonio who have a supermarket. Gentleman went to see him one day and told him that he had a lot of yam and he wanted to sell him yam. So my friend said to him, I will take 300 pounds of yam each week. And after 2 weeks, him couldn't deliver the 300 pounds of yam. Now, what we will be implementing is finding like-minded people. So we need to find maybe 3 or 4 more farmers who plant yam, organize them that they stagger the planting and they work together. We want to put them in a limited liability company. So therefore, they are registered, they have a bank account, they have documentation, and then all the funds will go to the same account. So when Tom have yam for 2-3 weeks, John will have yam for the next 3 weeks. Danny for the other weeks, and then James for the other week. And we want to do that not just with ground provision, but with livestock, chicken rearing, goat rearing. We want to develop aquaculture in the Rio Grande Valley, because I just told you that we have water in the Rio Grande Valley more than anywhere else. So we want to.
Colin Bell?
Huh?
You're not going to buy foreign goats.
We might have to import some goat because you see, again, I come back to the lack of vision. When Damian Crawford came in 2019 and said Jamaica needs to start raising more goats, the labor rights laugh at him and they call him goat man. Now the same people are importing goat. So it just shows you that where there is no vision, the people perish. And therefore, we can't sit down and wait any longer to kickstart these kind of development and these kind of projects. We want to develop the crayfish industry in the Rio Grande Valley. I don't know if you know crayfish, but crayfish is now being sold for $3,000 a pound. It's a freshwater project, and we want to develop that in the Rio Grande Valley. I have already written to the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica, asking them to do a research on the commercial rearing of crayfish.
About the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica. On
Yes.
one of your recent campaigns, you spoke about transforming the agricultural college into a university of agriculture.
Most definitely, my brother.
Explain how you're going to bring the STEM subjects into agriculture to boost the agriculture economy in Portland.
Well, you see, my vision is that the school should be named University of Agricultural Science, because agriculture now is a science. You have to know how to do it, and you have to ensure that people get the right idea, the technical expertise, and the assistant they need. The college have all that, and therefore when we bridge the gap between the college and our farmers will start earning big time, because we must start creating large farmers in Jamaica. We talk too much about small farmers and too much about backyard gardening. We have a lot of lands in Jamaica that are underused, and we need to put those land into production. Michael Madley said we need to put idle lands into idle hands and ensure that our food security is taken care of. So with a University College of Agriculture Science in Portland, the expertise will be here, the technical know-how, and of course, all the assistance that we need. As your MP or your council will be assisting the farmers, will be ensuring that rather work for the farmers and not for the politicians.
If Colin Bell becomes MP 2025, can we expect a Colin Bell to fight in the legislature to make sure that agriculture is prioritized in our country? Agriculture becomes the center of our economy. Will Colin Bell champion such a cause as a Portlander and a farmer?
Well, not just Colin Bell. The policy of the People's National Party is to ensure that in our first term, we cut our food importation bill by at least 20%. Our food importation bill is too high. We are importing nearly $2 billion each year in food, and we can grow most of these foods. I tell people every day, we should not be importing 1 ounce of chicken meat. We should not be importing 1 ounce of pork. We should not be importing 1 ounce of goat meat or beef. We are a tropical country. We can grow all of that. So yes, agriculture is a priority. Education is a priority. Tourism is a priority. But you know what we're going to use it to create the wealth that we need in Jamaica? It is the creative industry, the orange economy, sports, music, entertainment, the visual and the performing arts, film.
I want to ask you a further question on farming.
Yes.
How would the land distribution work? What's your vision for land distribution if we're to propel our people in farming? How will you deal with the land distribution situation? Because you know we still live on plantation land, and we will come on to Blue Lagoon later on. But how will the land distribution support organized farming?
You see, I believe that if you find young people who are doing their little farming now, you see that they are interested in farming, then you give them land. And you don't just give them the land, you give them financial support. You give them technical support. So that's how I would want to distribute the land. But I must be sure that people we are giving the lands are going to farm on the land. We're not selling them the land. we're giving them the land under condition that the land stays into production. If the land is out of production for any extended period of time, we are going to retake those lands, because we must ensure that our food security is key and paramount, because he who can feed himself is a wealthy man. If you can't feed yourself, you're an invalid.
And is that an advice Colin Bell would give to Mark Golding as an agriculture policy come 2025?
Well, you see, we have been talking about all these, my brother. And Mark Golding understand the need for food security in Jamaica. You see, COVID taught us some things, but some people never learn. When COVID started, importation was a major problem. And at that time, in fact, April 14, 2020, I made a post on Facebook that the government should invest $1.5 billion in agriculture at that time. That was a time when people couldn't go out. People were locked in and they said, yes, you could go to your farm. But we never buckled down. We missed that opportunity to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. And here we are again, depending on import for our food. And I'm saying that that must cut major.
I'm going to weigh you into two offices here come 2025. Say Colin Bell get placed in the Ministry of Finance, or Colin Bell get placed at the Ministry of Agriculture. If Colin Bell is at the Ministry of Finance, what budget would Colin Bell be looking at giving the Ministry of Finance? If Colin Bell is at Ministry of Agriculture, what budget would Colin be asking Ministry of Finance for to roll out that agricultural framework across Jamaica?
You're posing an hypothetical. I'll tell you where I go. I'll go in the Ministry of Culture and Creative Industry. However, to answer your question, agriculture, as I keep pounding home this evening, must be at the top of the list. You have agriculture, education, national security, health, tourism, and transportation. But agriculture, because with all that you do, you must eat. And then we must ensure that we secure food for our people. So agriculture must be prioritized and must given the necessary budget that it needs to grow to ensure that our farmers grow. Developing nation. Let me just finish this. Developing nations or developed nations subsidize their farmers big, because the farming industry, the agriculture of a nation must be priority. Nothing can happen without food.
But the roads, Colin, the roads are going to be important to the progression of agriculture. Otherwise, Colin Bell will be buying a lot of donkey in Portland, would he not?
And we're not buying no donkey. That's why we are going to fix the farm roads. That's why we are going to ensure that we stop squander the money, the level of corruption. We cut that out, because corruption is costing Jamaica over $100 billion every year. You know how much $100 billion could do? It's $40 billion. The Prime Minister put that Sparks program, you know. Look at Cornwall Regional.
We will come on to the 700 billion later on.
Huh?
We will come on to the 700 billion later on.
So we will have money to spend when we cut out all the corruption.
And Colin Bell is saying that the People's National Party is going to cut out the corruption.
We must.
What is Colin Bell healthcare policy?
You know, I was in London 2020. I was driving from London to Birmingham. And I said to myself, why we don't have a health trust that everybody pays into, just like how we pay into the housing trust. And when you need health care or you need money for major surgery, you draw down on the trust. That's just a vision I have.
I'm not going to double cross you, but look at where our national housing trust is at. But continue.
Yeah, but the National Housing Trust has been destroyed by the Jamaica Labour Party, who never understand it. And seems like they want to destroy Michael Mann, the legacy. Because how can you advance a man $650 million? And when him don't give you a house and say, I give you back, he might give back 20 million. That 20 million, my brother, works out to less than 1% interest per year. Where in Jamaica can you get that? Don't you see that that is corruption? That is a sweetheart deal. Don't you see that these people need to go and Jamaica needs a new direction? Don't you see that Andrew Holness is not capable of managing the country's resources? Don't you see that these people are just raping Jamaica and running the NHT in bankruptcy? When the PNP was in power and they decided to take $11 billion from the NHT, the GLP arms and affiliates took us to court. And then they came into power and extended for 9 years. Now the NHT can't even find money to lend. They have to be going to the major commercial banks to ask them to lend money and subsidizing the interest rate. The NHT is going to crash under this government.
Let's get back to your healthcare policy because we're going to go down that road later. Let's get back to Colin Bell healthcare policy for Portland.
So, we talk about the Port Antonio Hospital because what we have in Port Antonio is what I call a big clinic. And therefore, we must fix that because the people of Portland needs better. We have a Type C hospital that stabilizes and send you up. Within 2 years of Colin Bell becoming member of parliament, we are going to upgrade the Port Antonio Hospital, not through government resources, but we are going to do it ourselves. I have the experience by assisting the people in St. Mary to upgrade the anatomy hospital. I MC a lot of stage show, Wayne. I don't know if you know that about me. I have MC'd everything since 1995 except the last one. Huh?
I'm saying I understand that in my research today.
Right. So I MC a lot of stage show for the St. Mary people for free to help to upgrade the anatomy hospital. We are going to use that same roadmap to upgrade the Port Antonio Hospital that the people of Portland will get better health care. We are going to tear down the maternity ward because, my brother, if you're going to the maternity ward, you'd be shocked. The mothers can shake hands the way the beds are close. It needs a proper maternity ward for the entry of our people, of our young ones into this world. So we're going to fix up the Port Antonio Hospital that we can be proud of it. There's one thing about the Port Antonio Hospital that I am proud of right now. It is the cleanest hospital in Jamaica. When you go in there, it smells fresh. It smells good. The people them keep it clean. But we need the services. We need more equipment. We need machines. We need more specialist doctors to treat our people.
How do you plan to supply more bed space in Portland?
Outside of the maternity ward, I think we have enough bed space for now. Just the maternity ward that the beds are almost joined to each other. But on the other wards, we can operate. I mean, the population is growing a bit. So yes, in maybe another 5-10 years, we're going to need a little more bed space. Or if there's any pandemic or anything like that, yeah. But for now, the bed space is not so bad.
Is Colin Bell ready to stand up to the family purse of the vases in Portland?
To stand up to who?
Is Colin Bell ready to stand up to the family purse of the vases in Portland?
My brother, Ms. Abania, live ya, love ya, now left ya. My journey is powered by the blood of Jesus Christ. And therefore, no power on earth or in heaven can stop you when Jesus Christ say yes. So I fear no man who have 2 feet and 2 hands like me.
You spoke about transforming an area of Portland to revive the tourism sector of Portland. Explain that to Portland and Jamaica.
Well, let me start from the start. The cruise shipping industry in Jamaica started in Port Antonio. It was destroyed under the GLP back in the 1980s when Anthony Abrams was the Minister of Tourism. They were so wicked to Portland that they put on crocodile skin for a man, put him in the Rio Grande and tell lies a crocodile in the Rio Grande. And from that time until now, we have not been able to rebuild what we had back in the 80s and early 90s. We are going to ensure that we bring back tourists to Port Antonio by doing a few things. Navy Island sits right off the coast of Port Antonio. It's an island that is 78 acres of land large. We are proposing to build a world reggae park on Navy Island. In 2018, the United Nations lists Jamaica as the place for reggae. We have done nothing about that since, so we have not been earning from that branding. We are going to earn from that branding by building the World Reggae Park on Navy Island with a 5-star hotel. We're going to name the rooms after the reggae artists, the Bob Marley Suite, the Rita Marley Lounge, the Judy Mowat Spa, the Beanie Man Bar, the Bounty Killer Bar, stuff like that. We're going to put a statue of all reggae icon on the island. We're going to digitize the statues that when you go over there, you can plug in your thumb drive, swipe your credit card, and download what I call digital memorabilia.
Will that be a state-owned hotel or a private investor's hotel?
Well, we are going to seek investors, so the state can be in it. It can be private-owned. People can buy shares in it. So we don't know which one of those ways we're going to get the funding, but whichever way, we are going to get that kind of funding. Port Antonio also have 2 harbors. We have the East Harbor and the West Harbor. The West Harbor have a narrow problem in the channel, but the East Harbor can be developed to take any mega liner. And we are going to ensure that we get that development into Port Antonio, because you know what, my brother? We are not going to sit down and wait for outside help. We are going to go out there and seek investors to come to Portland, because there are powers that be, including the family you talk about, who don't want to see Portland develop. They don't want to see Portland grow. They want to have it as their little playground where them invite them friends. But I tell them, while the grass is growing, the horse is starving, and Colin Bell is here to ensure that the starvation of Portland people end. We are here to ensure that the development of Portland starts now. Time come for Portland to get its fair share of the cake. Those people you talk about, they have been member of parliament for Portland for 20 years. They have not delivered. They bought Dragon Bee and lock it down.
Colin Bell, isn't it fair to say, though, that the People's National Party had East Portland for around 30 years?
Yes, they had East Portland for about 30 years. And they have delivered on a lot of things. I just believe that it's time now for the real driver to step in the driver's seat and press home the advantage. The People's National Party for 30 years have built.
The things that the People's National Party did in Portland under their 30 years.
Right away, my brother. Right away. The People's National Party built the Anchovy housing scheme. They built the Fair Hill housing scheme. They built the Fair Prospect housing scheme. They built the Kenwright Primary School, the Boston Primary School. We upgraded the Port Antonio High School. We built a clinic in Port Antonio. We built a clinic in Fellowship. We built a Fellowship Primary and Junior High School. We built the road from Nigel straight into Port Antonio. We built the Rio Grande Bridge. You want more? The Kenwright Pier. The Kenwright Pier. Huh?
You can continue to educate the people and
the Kenwright Pier was built by the People's National Party. The Bournebrook Wharf was built by the People's National Party. This road that you see that is taking place from Boston to Port Antonio, or even Harborview into Port Antonio, was signed off and money found by Portia Simpson Miller. And I tell you something more than that, my brother. Every time that the GLP come into power, whatever is happening for Portland, they stop it. Let me tell you, in 2007, when they won, the sewage drainage and water project was started in Port Antonio. It was stopped by the Bruce Golden-led administration. Never started back until Portia Simpson Miller won in 2012. When they just won in 2016, the road was supposed to start and finish by 2020. They did not start that road until the late Dr. Bloomfield and myself, Councillor Wayne McKenzie, Dexter Rowland, Benny White, Julian King, we marched from Fair Hill for that road. And when they started, they left the people in dust for 3 years. It was when I started complaining that the people decided to do some work. So my brother, the People's National Party have done a lot of work. They have not done all that I wish that they would have done. And I am here to continue the work and to ensure that we move our people from street side greetings to business meetings.
How will a People's National Party-led Colin Bell MP tap into the orange economy to reboost the economy of Portland and by extension Jamaica?
Well, when you talk about the orange economy, you talk about PNP economy. It's the orange economy, the creative industry. My brother, the creative industry is valued at $3 trillion per year. Presently, Jamaica is earning only 2.2 billion Jamaican dollars, 13 million US. I am saying to you that under the next PNP administration, we are going to aim to earn at least 1% of that $3 trillion. That works out to 30 billion US dollars a year. That's over 6 trillion Jamaican dollars. So we are going to ensure that we move our people in that way. Film, music, visual and performing arts. If you're a DJ, you're a singer, we are going to ensure that your future is bright. If you are an actor or an actress, your future is going to be bright under the next PNP administration. If you do sports, cricket, football, athletics, your future is going to be bright under the PNP. Right now, the GLP is killing cricket in Jamaica. How can you have a cricket World Cup coming to the Caribbean and Jamaica, the country, the island with the largest population in the cricket playing West Indies, did not apply for even one match, my brother? You're serious?
What can Colin Bell bring to Portland that the Vases has not?
Everything. The Vases does not bring anything to Portland. In fact, they have taken from us. We are going to bring back tourism. We are going to rev up the orange economy, because when I spoke to you a while ago about the World Reggae Park, that is going to be one of the places that is going to drive that orange economy as well, because that will be like a studio over there on Navy Island. So a lot of films will be done over there. We're going to have a venue that can hold between 2,000 and 3,000 people over there, a state-of-the-art recording studio over there. We are going to get the war between the Maroon and the English. We are going to get that on film. We are going to put a statue of Nanny in the town square of Port Antonio, and then build up a Maroon village in Moortown to reenact the life of the Maroons. So when you come to Moortown, you can see how the Maroons used to live, what they used to eat, how they used to camouflage, how the soldiers operate. We are going to allow people to build Airbnb in the Maroon village. So when people come, if they want to stay for a day or 2 or a week, that is also available. And develop the trails to the World Heritage Site. We have Nanny Falls. We have falls in Berrydale. We are going to get rafting back to the glory days and beyond, my brother. The Vases have brought nothing to Portland. All they have done is taken from us. The people of Portland has put food on their table. And I remember the man go down a bar that tell people about input food on the table. Politicians must remember that they are employed by the people and not the bosses of the people.
What would you say, though, Colin Bell, to the critics who might say those are just empty promises? It would be no different to Unto Wholeness telling us that we are going to be able to sleep with our windows and our door open. How will Colin Bell guarantee that it is not an empty promise?
Well, everything that I have said to you, my brother, evaluate them. Tell me if they can happen. Tell me if they make sense. I told you about the creative industry that is valued over $3 trillion US a year.
All of the ideas except for buying goods from abroad that politicians normally come up with sound sensible. Like
sleep with your doors and your window open. You thought that was possible?
Colin Bell,
like the $18,000 that everybody was going to get? You thought that was possible?
No, it is possible.
Like the 5 and 4?
Open to some areas in the United Kingdom here, that is still possible. But what I'm saying is, oftentimes we get the promises, but they never come into tuition.
What I just
guarantee that he will deliver.
What I just told you, my brothers, are not promises, they are plans. They are vision
and you have
that we will be implementing.
You have your strategies for implementation.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Hold on. I just explained to you how I was going to develop the Port Antonio Hospital. I didn't just tell you that I'm going to develop it. I explained to you the process that I'm going to use to do it. I explained to you the process that I'm going to use to do some of the roads in Portland. And I am telling you now that the creative industry, an industry that is valued at $3 trillion US. Jamaica, which have so much entertainers, every Jamaican is a star. What we are going to do is provide them with that platform on which to perform, that they can earn from their talent. Yeah, in the creative industry, the saying is content is king. He who owns the content makes the money. Look at our music, my brother. The music of Jamaica don't really even get no help from government. And look how much it is benefiting us. I am saying that when we structure this with government assistance, getting the type of licenses that we need to provide that stage for our people to perform, these are not promises. These are vision that we will implement under the next PNP administration to move our people from street side greetings to business meetings.
Will Colin Bell abide by the accountabilities and integrity frameworks?
My brother, as I said to you a while ago, the journey is powered by the blood of Jesus Christ. It is honesty, integrity, dignity. Who do what?
Colin Bell election campaign. Who will be funding or who is funding Colin Bell political campaign?
This present campaign for the local government election will be funded by Colin Bell.
We won't hear anywhere further down the line that Colin Bell was funded by any dubious characters.
Listen to me now. Let me tell you something. One of the things you see is that I've seen people walk around with Reebok on their shirt and Puma and all of them something there. I've never seen anybody walking around with a shirt that said dubious character. I say that to say this to you, that when you're running a campaign and people see potential, people will come on board and assist you. As it relates to funding, I have not gotten any funding from anybody yet. People have made me offers because they like what I am saying, they love the vision, and they are ready to come on board. But as it stands right now, I am spending my money.
How will you spend the people money on when it comes to, say, at the local government level, when it comes to road contracts and things like that? Will Colin Bell make sure that contracts is on a competition procurement basis and not my friends and my family?
Let me tell you something. The municipal corporation have systems in place, and we will not circumvent those systems. We will work those systems the way they are, because we are not about going in there to rip off the people money. We are going in there to develop East Portland. It is my passion to see East Portland grow and the people of East Portland earn. So when we are going to deal with infrastructure, we want quality work. Not like what we're seeing now, some man throw some ball in the hole and paint it with asphalt. We see the road from Negril to Port Antonio. That road have on 6 inches of asphalted concrete. And when they dig it up for any reason, they fill it up back with marl and paint it with asphalt. We're not into that. We are about quality. We are about integrity. We are about accountability.
Have you frozen? Explain how you're going to bring young people into the business meeting.
Well, as I said to you a while ago, one of the main things that we are going to use is the creative industry. The young people, they are talented. And when they get to understand what is in for them in the creative industry, they will come on board. There are a lot of young people in the Rio Grande Valley who also believe in farming. We have a lot of people up there right now who raise goat, who raise chicken, and we are going to assist them to do what it is that they like. What in this campaign we are doing is we are having what we call square meeting, where we don't just go on a platform and speak down to the people. We are going into these meetings to speak with the people. So we put our plans forward, hear their suggestion, and answer their questions. Sorry. Those are the kind of meetings that we are going to be having. So we are going to hearing from the young people what is it that they also want, not just what we are coming with.
Recreation amenities. How does Colin Bell plan to invest and develop parks and community center for young people and for the local community to socialize?
So if you are going to go big in the creative industry, those recreation amenities, you have to have them. So we're going to ensure that our community centers and our play fields are up to standard. We are going to ensure that we have a monthly fund to maintain those facilities, because most of the times the communities right now, based on where they are, they can't cut the field themselves, they can't fence the field because you have a lot of people who have stray animals go on to the playfield, damage them. Our community centers are not utilized because nothing really happening, no training not happening in them. I am going to ensure that as a councillor or MP, we have monthly meetings in the communities, and I will be attending those meetings because I am of the opinion that if people know that the MP or the councillor is going to be there, they will be coming out. So I'm going to be the driver of change and to ensure that people participate in their community and stop asking what the country can do for them, but do what they can for their country.
Infrastructure development in East Portland, Portland by extension. What's your vision for infrastructure development in East Portland or Portland by extension?
Oh God. All right. So I said to you earlier that water is not such a burning issue in the Rio Grande Valley, but it is a burning issue, a fire issue in the rest of East Portland. You have places like Drapers, Sherwood Forest, Islington, Commodore, Windsor Forest, Rural Hill, where I'm at right now. A lot of places do not have running water in their pipes, and we have an MP going around and building water shop. Right now, we say no to water shop. The people need water in their taps. We are going to ensure that every community in Portland Eastern will have running water in their pipes in one term, because the water is available, you know, my brother, but the distribution, the vision is lacking, and we are going to ensure that we develop the water infrastructure in East Portland. We have a lot of bad roads. We are going to be working on those. We have poor internet connection, poor phone connection there. There are places in Portland where phone don't pick up. So we have a lot of problems as it relates to our infrastructure. And once we get going, get some of those investment, get the World Reggae Park up and running, get cruise ships start coming back to Portland on a regular basis, we will get the infrastructure up. Because the work had started under the PNP, you know. Because one of the problems in Port Antonio is that Port Antonio is below sea level. And hence the whole thing about the sewage drainage and water project that I mentioned earlier that was shelved by the GLP in 2007 and restarted by the Portia Simpson-led administration in 2012. The sewage project has been completed, the drain project has been completed, and the GLP has slowed down again the water part of the project. So we are getting in there.
The Reggae Park, do you have a timeline in vision should the PNP come to government in 2025?
If the PNP comes to government and Colin Bell is your member of parliament, we're looking at a planning stage of 2 years and then starting, so we're looking maybe at about 6 years to full implementation.
The Rio Cobra, Colin Bell.
The Rio Grande.
No. Not sorry, sorry, not that. Sorry, I am totally mistaken. Blue Lagoon.
Yes.
Blue Lagoon has become a debacle, disgrace, and disaster. Explain Blue Lagoon, the current situation. Explain, do you disagree or not, and what Colin Bell would do to restore Blue Lagoon should he get elected as MP or councillor?
The first thing we will do when we win the council on the 26th of February is remove the barriers and the security guard from the parochial road. And I want to use this medium to say to the people of the Mansion Hill Division.
You to that, Colin Bell. Look in the camera.
Bangle me for that.
Look in
Bangle
the
me.
And tell the nation what you will do if elected as councillor on the 26th of February.
When the PNP wins the Portland Municipal Corporation on the 26th of February, we're going to take a couple of days to swear in and all of that. But the minute we swear in, we are going to instruct the superintendent of police to remove the barriers and the security guards from the parochial road at Blue Lagoon. Listen what I am saying to you. And I want to say to the people of Mansion Hill to ensure that His Worship the Mayor Paul Thompson never see back the door of the parish council, because as the mayor, he has sold out the people. He have the authority, well had, because I guess council going to dissolve now, had the authority to remove those barriers and security guards. I heard him on Nationwide telling Cliff Hughes that him don't know who paying the security guards. No, it is a parish council road that leads into the Blue Lagoon. And he allow them to take it over. It is the people's road. You cannot do that. No, there must be rules and regulations, my brother. So I'm not saying that Blue Lagoon is going to be a free for all. Yeah? Some things used to happen down there that is not right. So Blue Lagoon was in a stage that it needed some fix. But the fix was not to take it away from the people who have sent generations to school out of working at Blue Lagoon doing their business there. And they have taken away those people's business. And who have done it? Nobody now say who do it. How can you have a mayor go tell us say no know who put barrier and security guard in the parish council road? We talk about corruption in this country. We talk about accountability. I am calling on the Auditor General to
illicit 6, Colin Bell. You talk about corruption and illicit 6. Why is the People's National Party going into an election without forcing the government to release who the illicit 6 are?
But we have been calling for them to release the illicit 6. My leaders asked the Prime Minister pointedly, Andrew Holness, are you one of the 6? He has not answered to that. And remember, Wayne, that the Prime Minister's statutory filing for the last 2 years have not been certified in the UK. He could not be Prime Minister. And April coming is going to be 3 years. So I don't know when them talk about people must give them another term. Any term I see for them is a prison term. Because somebody is stealing the people's money. And therefore, the people of Jamaica, hold on, I just want to make this point. The PNP has been calling for them to name them. But here now, the people of Jamaica have an opportunity to send a message to Andrew Radam Brogard Holness that he must now ship out because the country needs a forensic audit. And to get a forensic audit, you have to move all of these people from Christopher Tufton to Wheatley to Bobby Montague to Andrew Holness. They've got to go.
Let's talk about, we're going into a whole different money now. Let's talk about, you discussed this 650 million earlier. But let's talk about the 700 billion from the Office of the Prime Minister, Department of Education, and Department of Health. If the People's National Party and Colin Bell is elected 2025, will Colin Bell make sure those who, and the People's National Party, those who have stolen from our public purse, including the illicit 6, will be prosecuted for corruption if the evidence leads so?
What I am sure is that we will not stand in the way of the police or MOCA or those investigating agencies. And that's why we are calling for that forensic audit, that the chip will fall where they may. And my brother, let me remind you, it's $1.6 trillion that the Auditor General cannot give account for. So it's a whole heap of money. How can you have the Prime Minister's office not doing what they are supposed to do, Ministry of Education, and all these people have internal auditors in their offices?
How will the People's National Party make sure going forward they continue to educate the nation street and lane of all the choices, of all the information that they know, so they make informed choices?
Well, we will be putting them out there, Wayne. We have been putting them out there. I am on YouTube every Saturday morning, Portland Spice TV at YouTube, where I lay out all these things to the people. My plans are there, and we do our best in educating the people. We use mainstream media as well. The PNP has its social media pages, Mark Golding have his, and all the candidates are on social media, and basically we put the facts out there. But you know that there are times when some people rather to believe a lie than believe the truth.
The Office of the Political Ombudsman in March of 2021 disciplined Michelle Charles for a violation she would have committed leading up to the 2020 general election. Later that year, November 2022, the Prime Minister destructed the office of the political ombudsman. This week, Tuesday, we saw where the Prime Minister attempted in the dead of night to bring 8-hour legislation into Parliament to lump the office of the political ombudsman together with the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. Do you think there's an attempt here by the Prime Minister to bribe the electoral process?
Let me tell you something. What you saw in the Parliament on Tuesday was incompetence on show. Incompetence. We have seen that this government has brought a lot of bills to the Parliament, that when you go through the bill, you realize the bills are full of errors and makes no sense. They have rammed through the bill with the Director of Public Prosecution, and they were coming to ram through another bill. I want to tip my hat a little bit to Carl Samuda, who chided the government that they should not interfere with the Electoral Commission. Is one of the few entities that we still have in government that is working and working well. So the incompetence of the Andrew Holness-led government is unsure. They can't walk and chew gum. They destroy the political ombudsman because they don't want nobody to talk to them. And Labour Right told me the other day that they must throw away the Integrity Commission too, because Andrew Holness filing can't be certified, so they must mash up the Integrity Commission. It's a gangster government, it's a corrupt government, and the people of Jamaica have time now to show them that they are not pleased with their performance.
Will Colin Bell make sure, if Colin Bell is elected, the people who elect Colin Bell is Colin Bell first priority and not Colin Bell business interests or Colin Bell high society friends?
You see, I am going in this, my brother, for the people, because my family lives in East Portland. My friends live in East Portland. Everybody who means anything to me, they are either from East Portland or them living in East Portland. And therefore, my first priority is to the people of Eastern Portland, and by extension, the people of Jamaica. You see, so I like to tell people, let me just say this, my brother. I like to tell people that when I signed up for the Jamaica Defense Force, it wasn't a draft. I did it voluntarily, because if it comes to the day when I need to take up arms to defend this country, Colin Bell is ready. So my priority is about the people, and the people living good, living their best life and creating wealth and moving them from street side greetings to business meetings.
So when Colin Bell is elected, Colin Bell will be working for the people and not being in Galilee playing and crying with water. Colin Bell is saying, I will make sure I work for the people.
Wait, let me explain something to you. Back in, I think it was last year, September. No, 2022. When the children going to school in Happy Grove were getting home at midnight, it was Colin Bell who get out there and raise cane and suggested that the government send over some JUTC bus or subsidize the fare on some posters to get the children to and from school in a timely manner. When the people of Boston, Fairhill, Drapers, Clear Spring was suffering for dust because the mall was on the road and people were getting sick, it was Colin Bell who stepped out there and defended the people and spoke on the people's behalf to get them relief. So my thing, my brother, is about my people. It's about my people. And it is because of the people why I'm here. They defended me and ensured that we want Colin Bell to be the member of parliament. And that's why I'm the candidate for the People's National Party. I am not a man with the big means like some other people. But it's because I am staying with the people. I am of the people, from the people, and for the people. And that's why I'm here.
I'm going to bring you forward on screen and give you the opportunity to tell East Portland why they should choose Colin Bell, why Fellowship Division should choose Colin Bell, why East Portland should choose Colin Bell, and why Jamaica should choose the People's National Party.
Well, East Portland and Fellowship Division should choose Colin Bell because of my track record. For years, I have been the voice of the people for Portland. When everybody else afraid to speak out on issues, Colin Bell stepped to the fore and speak out. I am saying to them, make me officially the voice of Portland. Colin Bell will ensure that we bring wealth to our people. We list out a number of the things that we want to do. The World Reggae Park on Navy Island. We want to bring cruise shipping into East Harbour, to develop the Folly Grounds into a theme park and to an entertainment center at Folly. We want to put a statue of Nanny in the town square, recognizing Jamaica only national heroine, to develop that Maroon Village in Moortown, to ensure that we start getting wealth from the World Heritage Site. We want to put the film between the war and the war. We want to put the war between the Maroon and the English on film. That will bring billions of dollars into the Rio Grande Valley. We want to upgrade the Port Antonio Hospital from a type C to a type B facility. Presently, Port Antonio needs one more high school and we need one more primary school, because we still have a high school that is on shift and we have 2 primary schools that is on shift. Colin Bell understands and feels the pain of the people of East Portland. I feel the pain of the people and I understand. For years, I have been looking at the solutions that will be needed to ensure that my people live their best life. So the people of East Portland and Fellowship Division should choose Colin Bell for proper representation and for wealth creation. The people of Jamaica should choose the People's National Party. That is the only organization that can rescue Jamaica from this wicked, thieving, corrupt government that is running this country now. This government that is incompetent. Jamaica needs to be rescued. The People's National Party, we have shown in our last term in office that we can manage the economy. When we got the economy from the Jamaica Labour Party in 2011, the economy was wrecked by Audley Shaw, Andrew Wallace and their crew. The IMF would not speak to Jamaica. It was Dr. Peter David Phillips and the most honorable Portia Simpson Miller who resurrect the Jamaican economy. We had to beg people like Yvette Clark and the Black Caucus in Washington, D.C. to beg the IMF even to have a discussion with us. And when they had that discussion, we put measures in place, and Mark Golding was the Minister of Justice who coined some of the laws to ensure that Jamaica never get to that stage of the economic precipice that we got to back in between 2007 and 2007 and 2011. So we have shown that we can take care of this economy. What is happening now? The foundation was set by the People's National Party. We are here again to rescue Jamaica from these incompetent labor rights. And the people of Jamaica should look at the People's National Party, should look at Mark Golding. This is the first tested and proven businessman that we are seeing stepping up to the plate to manage the business of Jamaica. Jamaica must be run as a business, and Mark Jefferson Golding have that experience of running a successful business. He's not in it to scrape for himself, but we are here to provide service for the people of Jamaica. So time come for the People's National Party to rescue Jamaica. Time come for those who have stolen the people's bread to go to prison. Time come for those who have plundered the resources of this country to go to prison. Time come for those who have made bad decisions that has cost this country billions of dollars to be fired. Time come for a forensic audit for Jamaica. Time come for the people of Jamaica to move from street side greetings to business meetings.
Mr. Bell, I want to thank you very much for being on Global TV tonight. If there's anything else that you want to say, please do feel free. But thank you very much for setting out your stall here tonight on Global TV. And always do feel free. If you want to reach the audience, you can always come to Global TV to speak to the audience. But thank you very much for being here. If you want to say anything else to the audience,
Wayne,
please do.
I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be on your platform. But I want to say to all the people who have been listening, if you have questions and you want to question Colin Bell and anything that I have said, Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, Portland Spice TV. That's 9 o'clock Jamaica time. Sorry, that's 9 o'clock Jamaica time. I am on for 2 hours every Saturday morning. I open my phone lines. I take calls from whosoever will to answer any question on the vision that I have laid out. So thanks again for having us on your platform. And remember, when you go to the polls on February 26th, vote against corruption. Put your X beside the head. And I just want to remind the people of Jamaica that Fitzjackson not move a motion in the parliament, that the banks should stop charge fees for people depositing and withdrawing their money. All PNP members back then voted for the bill. The Jamaica Labour Party members of parliament voted against the people of Jamaica. Time come to vote against that party.
Shaka Fame, thank you very much for being here with us tonight.
One love.
We really appreciate you coming to Global TV and telling Portland Fellowship Division and Jamaica.
And let me just explain to people, because I am seeing Sean Cook name on the screen. I am using Sean's phone because we are walking in the Mansion Hill Division. As the MP candidate, I take a day out of a week to walk with the candidates. So today I'm walking with Sean Cook in the Mansion Hill Division. My phone, the battery was low, so I'm using Sean's phone. So if you see Sean Cook on the screen, it's Sean's phone that I am using to do the interview. My name is Colin Anthony Shaka Fame Bell, man of vision, man of integrity. We're ready to move our people from street side greetings to business meeting. Power to the people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bell, and have a lovely time.
Blessings.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Good night, everyone. How did that interview go? Has Mr. Bell tell you anything convincing? What will Jamaica decision be this time? Will Jamaica vote on party line? Will Jamaica vote for Jamaica? Will Jamaica vote for our next generation? But our election, our local government election, is finally here. The Prime Minister doesn't at all look enthusiastic about calling an election, which he has been backed into a corner, kicking and screaming to call. But now that it is upon us, the propaganda warfare has swung wide open. All media houses, mainstream and social, has fully now swung into gear. This is our second interview on our Jamaica Decide program, which we are running for 5 weeks. Thank you very much all for being here this evening. You can also give me a feedback on how the interview went, and if anything you need to pull me up on so I can develop, please do so. But thank you all very much for being here. I really, really appreciate your support. Thanks very much to those on TikTok. I do see quite a few people over here. Michael Ray, Lisa Stanley, welcome. Who else is here? Dion Campbell, hello, how are you? Brittany Lyon, how are you? Hello. Brittany Monio, how are you? Ubuntu, how are you? Glennox Smith, good evening. Well, Kezia Culture Closing, good evening. Who else have I seen? Good evening to everyone on the live. Michelle Johnson, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Tina Moore, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Good evening. Marcy McKenzie, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Maureen Cunningham, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Beulah, how are you? Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And Izzy Holder, good evening and welcome. And we are saying over here, everybody has the opportunity to come and set out their stall on global TV. We are an unbiased broadcaster. Even though we have our own opinion and our own political ideology, I am first Jamaican. In everything, I am first Jamaican. So my first loyalty would be to Jamaica. But everybody here, everybody who is going up for the election, JLP, PNP, UIC, can come over here and set their stall out. I am going to reach out to some people in the Labour Party. I have other people, other councillors in the People's National Party who I'll be interviewing. I will be reaching out to people from the Jamaica Labour Party. If anyone knows of their councillor, JJ, good evening, how are you? Lilith Foster, good evening, how are you, and welcome. If anyone know of their Miss Melissa Allen, good evening and welcome, their councillor or mayor who would want to get their point across to their social media audience, and do not, you politicians, do not underestimate social media. Do not underestimate social media. So if anyone wants to come over here and lay out their stall, we are here to make sure the people of Jamaica have the information they need to make that informed choice on the 26th of February at the local government election. Nifty friend, good evening and welcome. But you all, thank you very much. I'm going to go to bed now. Tricia Hope, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. BCA Simit, how are you? How are you? I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone this evening. Mystic Vibes, good evening and welcome. Mikey Jones, good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome. Is it Jennifer or Fenifer Hardricks? Good evening and welcome. Sorry, I'm not. It's just me and my tongue. I don't want to miss anyone, to be honest. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all, Evan Green. Thank you all for joining us. But please do come back here tomorrow when we continue. Anthony Morgan, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome. When we will no doubt be back continuing our discussion of the election campaign. And anybody who wants to come and set out their stall, they are free to do so. So not because our first interview is from the People's National Party. This is not a wagonist or a bandwagonist. This is, we're making sure we provide the audience, we provide our platform for people to speak to the electorate. So I want to thank you all very much for being here with me tonight. Thank you to those on the Twitch, those on X, on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you all very much. See you back here tomorrow when we come back to our Jamaica Decide 2024. Thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow. And once again, happy birthday to Debbie Jervis. We wish you a great one. Maureen Wittick, good afternoon and welcome. Donna Fraser, welcome. Anyway, thank you all. See you tomorrow morning when we continue our series, Jamaica Decides.